taking the drive units apart. First of all, this is a thumb screw, and that's description or the that is mentioned for an adjustment. This is the adjustment that you will need from time to time to tension the belt. And what you do is you loosen this thumb screw, and it doesn't have to be over tight. All this thumb screw is for is to keep this nut from vibrating loose and letting the belt become loose and potentially having problems. As we've showed in other videos or told you before, this nut does not have to be over tight. It just needs to go over to where it comes up against this surface here. The nut comes up against there, and that's as tight as it needs to be. Also, and you'll see this in a minute, there's a spring up inside here that helps tension this while you're putting the belt on. That's the only reason why that spring is there, and that spring has to be in the front part here and not back here in the driving section. If you put that spring back here in the driving section when you reassemble the drive unit, you will have problems. It needs to go in there, and all that spring is for is while you're putting the belt on, it puts a little bit of tension on the whole thing and makes it far easier to put the belt back in place. All right, right now I'm going to take this apart. I'm going to loosen this up a couple of turns. I'm going to tighten the thumb screw so that it won't inadvertently come out of there, and then I'm going to take the belt off of here. And the belt comes off much easier on the big sprocket, and it's much easier to put it on the big sprocket last when you go to assemble it. There's the belt off, as you can see. This slides right out of this hole. This hole goes way up in here. This unit here is a reinforcement to take the load that is put into the system through this here. And there's an identical one right here. It's an aluminum tube, a metal tube. And now up in here is the spring. I'm going to just pick this up a little bit and have that spring slide down out of there. And this spring, there's no attachment to it at all. It just bottoms out up in here, and is there once again to give some tension for when you put the belt back on here. Over here, this part here keeps this small sprocket can rotate in here. There's nothing that keeps it from rotating, but this keeps this idler, and this is an idler. It keeps that straight and doesn't let it swing over to one way, which could potentially compromise and cause the belt to want to come off of there. So that's all that this bolt on here does. You don't need one on the other side, because if this swings this way, it has a tendency, the belt and pedaling just straightens this back out. So that's the situation with these here. Once again, here is the this is the Escapade drive unit here, and this set screw here holds this in place so that this cannot turn right here. That's all that this does. You should not need to adjust this on your Escapade. There's a potential possibility that it could come out at some later date, but we're not going to get into that at this particular time. Putting the spring back in here, and this one is the driving unit. This carrier right here This is molded on here and goes in here. This goes down over a stud that is on there, and once again there is a screw. Can't see it with that one, but this is a screw right here that gets screwed into this carrier right here.